Hello, friends. I am live streaming today. It's a bit of a somber day considering all of the geopolitical events that are going on. So I didn't announce that I was going to be streaming today. So if I don't expect a whole lot of people to be on, um, didn't announce it because I really don't want to take. I don't want to be taking much uh, focus away from the bigger, more important things that are going on in the world. So if you are here, I'm guessing that it's because you were hanging out on a live stream platform anyway and kind of looking for this sort of content. But I just didn't want to, be marketing and taking away attention from the people that could actually be using it right now. So in the meantime, I do have to continue with my day-to-day work, which this is part of what I do for work. So I'm very fortunate. So we're going to get back into working on what we've been doing, which is creating a weather app. So let's see. Back into some music going for us. And we'll start working on this thing. That's not what I want. I want that, and then I can close this guy down. So here is the app that we've been working on. And where we left off yesterday was we added this form to the page because we basically want to provide a way for people to search for their location and change their location. Because up until now, it's been taking the location from the EdgeWorker user location object. So let's see what we can do with this. Where we are is we're grabbing the user location if the location was sent along in the query string parameters. One thing we need to fix here is URL search params is actually not available in EdgeWorkers. That is a browser. Well, that is an API that's built and provided within the browser and within Node, but is not a JavaScript primitive. So in order to provide that, to make that available, we do have the ability to import it from the built-in modules in EdgeWorkers. So we can import URL search params from URL-search params. That I think is not a built-in that we have available that we're mocking. So we're also going to have to mock that. So if we create a new folder at URL-search params and then create an index.js file, we can have that. And this can just export default the URL search params constructor from Node. So this is a mock that's going to be running in a Node environment and is going to imitate the behavior of the EdgeWorker environment. And we just need to call this URL search params. That, I believe, is all we need to do to make the built-in package a installable NPM package. Then what we need to do is, this is going to say we can't find URL search params. That makes sense. So we're going to npm install from our local directories of built-ins the URL search params package. npm Run dev. Once again, we should not see that error. We do not see that error. So with that there, we can go back to our main.js file, and we're now importing this as a dependency, and then we can use it just fine. And I believe it should work exactly the same. So if we go here, we should see, and reload, we should see the same sort of layout. Cool. Okay, getting back into our code. What I want to do here is do stuff with the location. So what I'm going to do, there's basically a few things I want to do. If the request has a query, that is going to take precedence. Otherwise, else if, or we'll do this. With our comment, we're going to say else if request cookies as location, use that. And then we'll have another one, else use request user location object. So let's add some comments here for our code. So if user provides, if user requests new location, update location and cookies. Else, if the cookies exist, use that as a location. Otherwise, we'll just use the default user location. Okay, so by using the default user location, I think I'll move that logic up here. And we'll say that this is going to be a let. And this will be the same thing. So we're using this as a placeholder for the request user location. I think what we'll actually do here is say const. We're going to destructure this city, state, country equals request.user location. And then we'll say down here, let location equal that. So we're just going to leave that as comments right now because we want to hard code some values in there, which we'll get to. So we'll have a default value. And then if the location is set, we want another built-in module, actually. Let's go tech docs. We want the EdgeWorkers. And I want to get down to the built-in modules. And now I want a cookies module. This is what it's going to look like. So in our code, it's going to look something like that. And that's going to go down here. And then once again, because we have a new module, we need to create the cookies module, an index.js file. I'm going to copy this package.json and paste it in here. And this is just going to be called cookies. And we can close that. And right. our cookies is going to export const cookies equals something. It's cookies and set cookie. And then export const set cookie is going to equal some function. Unimplemented at the moment. Okay, so how does cookies and set cookies work? So new set cookie is going to be a class. And that's the value. Set the cookie name. Okay. This is all for set cookies. I want to know methods for cookies. Okay. So a new cookies objects to hold cookies. This takes the cookie header optionally and the options optionally. This is kind of a lot that we're going to have to recreate. So this is probably going to take up, well, this may take longer than the whole stream. So let's just see how far we get. But starting out, we know that cookies is actually going to be a function. So I'm going to say a function cookies and then that's going to complain because it's already been identified. Let's say cookies factory, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That's going to be set to that function. And then cookies factory dot where are we? Here. Now, this may actually be easier with a class. I hate using JavaScript classes. Equals export class cookies. Right. It's got to take a constructor. I mean, sure, why not? That's our initial class. What I want is when I create a new cookie, it should have the cookies header optional, passes the raw cookies header to the constructor to parse. If an array is passed, the first element must be a string that uses the cookies string to parse. If it is not passed, an empty cookies object is returned. Okay. I wonder if NBN has something on cookies. It's probably not going to be cookies.cookie. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be quite what I need. So it's going to take, it's a constructor that can take, what was it? The cookies header and the options. And then it would do something with those. I'm not sure. That's my constructor. Nonetheless, so it's a new cookies. It takes request get header cookie. Is that the result though? That looks like my cookie. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it's going for. Here, options, return, decode URIs. Okay. Response.set header. Cookie to header. Well, let's try adding our first method here. We're going to say toHeader is a function that does that. And I don't know, returns a string, right? Oh, I need to actually mark that. Okay. And then toHeader actually does take options. This object overrides the default encoding of the set cookie values. This object must have a function named encode on it to return the custom encoding results for the string. toHeader. I'm not passing anything there. Here's my options. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. So let's see. That's all I know that the encode may have to look like. Okay. So let's say this is going to be options, and then we'll add a parameter, which options is going to contain a property called encode, which is a string, accepts a string, and returns string. Okay. And that is my options. Cool. This is encode is a function that takes a string and returns a string. That's R equals options dot encode. Wait, that's not right. That's not how we use it. I'm gonna figure that out later. Okay, that's my first steps to rebuilding that. Next, we need another method called get. So that's toHeader. I think I'm going to put this one first. It makes more sense to me. Get, and that's going to take a name, param of string is name, and that's just going to return some other value, which right now we'll just treat as a string. Don't need that returns, don't need that extra space. Cool. Get cookie, right? That makes sense. Get all. name of all matching cookies. If no cookies exist, an empty array is returned. So get all of cookie 1. Okay. Get, we've got get all. And this is going to return an array of strings. Name. That takes a string. Don't need that. It all returns an array of strings. Get returns a string. Cool. So far, so good. Our syntax is basically the same. So names returns the names of all existing cookies held by the specified cookie object. So it returns an array of strings. That's very similar to this. This is, what was it? Names? Okay. That has no parameter. Add name and a value, both strings. Cool. I feel like add should be first. Yeah. Add takes the name value. We don't need the options, I don't think. And then that's going to be string and string. And that's going to, I don't think that's going to return anything. Delete. So we're going to do add, get all names, delete, takes a name, is not going to return anything. And we're just going to say that this param is a string. Oops. Param is a string. Cool. Put that all on one line. It's not going to return anything anyway. Okay, then we're going to actually have to build our cookies stuff. So I have never done this before, and I feel like there is probably some better tools for this, or maybe even a library that I should be using, but I like to avoid dependencies where I can. Nonetheless, we're going to get started here. So what do I want? Well, first of all, we're going to say that this cookie cookies, I think. Oops, that should be an object, because the cookies are going to need several different properties like HTTP only or whatever. But anyway, let's try starting with this. Let's get rid of set. Set cookie is probably going to be a class as well, but we're just treating that. That's fine. Okay. Set cookie, you should be a function. But cookies, let's see. So how does cookies work? Cookies, let cookies equal that. I need request.getHeader cookie. So cookie equals new cookies. Request.getHeader we have enabled for cookies. So let's try this part first, right? Let's say console log request.getHeader cookies. If I come back here and let's see, refresh the page. I'll find package cookies. Did I not do that? npm install, I probably didn't, built-in cookies. Thank you. And then run dev. Looks like we've got the package now. If we reload that, that should be running. Uh-oh, another error. ToString, get response, get header, header key, ToString. So that is a problem in our server code. Right. Oh, well, this doesn't make sense here. That, I think this was a GitHub Copilot thing. Essentially, let's see. I want that, maybe. ToString. If header is, oh no, that's if. Well, let me see what get header is supposed to actually do. Over here, my request object should have get header. What get header does is returns a string or array, and it returns the name of headers. Right. Well, let me start here. Tool log header. Request.getHeader from the header key. That is saying there's an error. I don't know. I'll come back to that. For the time being, that should be fixed. Okay, and our header is undefined. So now what I want to do is actually set some cookies. So we do that with, I think it's document.cookie equals, and let's say a name, a key and a value. Say key equals value. And then we can say document.cookie, and it should return that to me. Cool. Now let's try reloading, because that cookie should be sent to the backend. And no, we don't get it. Perhaps we need to set the... that's because, okay. The header. Well, let's try this. I need to set a header of a cookie. Header, let's say node. Get and set a single cookie with HTTP server. Right head. So set cookie is what I want. in my headers. So now I need to figure out several things. I need to figure out how to set the header, which we have response.setHeader. I think that may have to be request.setHeader. Oh no, request.setHeader does not do this. Okay, so response.setHeader. So let's go here. And we should be able to also here look for set header. Yes. Request.setHeader does that, which sets my request header. And then response should have a set header as well. And it's the response set header that I want to use. So this is actually might be kind of tricky. Okay. Next thing's next. Let's see. I can modify response provider. Okay, this is going to take a bit of work. Response provider. Yes. Create response. Response provider. Okay. So I need to look through. That's Edge KV. That's not what I want. I want to look through the lifecycle events. Developer tools, development, event handler functions. And now I want on, where am I? Response provider. Here we are. Function. Response provider takes a request and returns this. So we're using create response there. Okay, telling me to look at response orchestration. Which takes a response provider, goes back to the cache, and this says on client response. Okay, let's check out this example. API orchestration. This is going to use create response so that I can return promise resolve with create response. All right, I think we're going to have to do another built-in module. So let's jump into that. Got our cookies, URL search params, and here we're going to do the create response index.js file. Go to our cookies, we'll copy the package JSON, we'll paste it in here, and we'll rename it to create response. Create response I need to rebuild that now. Create response. Turn an object from a promise and use it as a response. Okay. So there's two ways to use create response. One is the status, the header is the body, and the deny reason. The other is the body and the options. I think I like this approach better. So this is the one that I'm going to build. So create response is going to be export const create response equals a function, or just export function create response. Okay. And that is going to take the body and the options. And then we can say that the body is a string, I believe, and the options object. String or a readable stream. So string or readable stream. Cool. The options, status, headers, deny reason. Well, it looks like the whole options object can actually can include the body, in fact. No. It's an object, status, headers, and deny reason. Okay, so let's say status. I wonder if there's an HTTP status code. Looks like it. Cool. Okay, that's cool. Status headers are HTTP headers, incoming headers, outgoing headers. Create response, so it's going to be outgoing headers. Maybe. And then deny underscore reason is a string. Okay. That is my options. Default, default, default. So we do have default values. So I'm just going to say we are going to redefine that as options. Or I guess we can do object dot assign options with the default values, which is going to be status 200, headers is that, deny reason is that. And in fact, I have that backwards. Say options equals the default values merged with the options. There's actually probably a better way of doing this, which is instead of object assign, we're just going to do that. Nope. We're going to do that. And then we will spread out the existing options. And we've got that. Cool. Kind value never used. That's fine. Cool. And then it should actually do something with this. What does it return? Create response. Generates the return value for response provider. Yeah. Use this function to validate the past values and return an opaque object. The opaque object can be used to resolve the promise. Hmm. Well, I think I've mostly got it right. So this is, I guess, going to just return options like that. And then we will put the body on there as well. Cool. So that's going to create my response. I think that's fine for what it does. Let's go ahead and install that. npm install local files, the built-ins, and the create response. And then we'll run dev again. And we can close that. We can close that. In our main.js, before we deal with the cookies, let's do import from create response. That's going to be, you going to help me out there? No? Create response. Cool. Now the correct syntax here should be return promise.resolve. And inside of promise.resolve, we'll have create response, which takes the body, which is a string, all the way down here. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is save this. Const body equals that. And then we can get all the way down to the end of our body once we've built out the HTML. And we can say return promise.resolve, create response with the body, and then create response takes the options, which is the status, the headers, the deny reason, optionally the body. That's interesting. But okay, we're going to do the headers. Sure. And then we also want the status, which is going to be a status of 200. So saying return value. Okay, yeah, I guess I don't need to because it's an async function. So, so now what's going to happen is my function is going to break here. And the reason it's going to break is because, chunk argument must be of type string or an instance of buffer. So what we have is in our server, where is our server? Down here. In our server, we are grabbing the result, and then we're just ending with the result. And what we need to do is check if the result is an object. Object, sure. And if so, then we'll do that. That looks good. Body does not exist on type promise. Oh, yeah. I guess this may need to come up here. Cool. Body does not exist on type promise object. That's interesting. So maybe it didn't. Yeah, it's just complaining. So I'm thinking that by the time it gets here, this should have been updated. So let's just see if that actually works functionally speaking. Different error, status code undefined. If it's an object, log object. Let's see here. We're going to end with hello and hello world, and just see where we are right now. I should see hello world, I believe. Cool. And here we should see cool. We have our information. Body, status, header, and deny reason. So we're going to go response.write head. I'm not sure. Response dot status code equals result dot status. Right head. Send a response header to the request. I mean, this looks like it should have worked. Okay, so this should definitely have worked here. That can be end. I feel like this should work. We probably don't need that, and I don't think we need that. Not working. Invalid status code. Status. Oh, that's because I have status code. There you go. Status. Okay, let's try this now. Oh, what's up, Rugmat? Sorry, I've been ignoring you. I have been, yeah, I didn't announce that I was going to be streaming today, so I wasn't expecting a lot of people because, well, with all the stuff going on in the world today, yeah, I didn't want to take attention away from things, but I figured if people were on Twitch, then, you might want to stop by anyway. Yes, chat is working. Promise resolve is unnecessary. Yes, it is. Sorry that I'm so late to the party with your comments. But it looks like things are working now. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is there's a whole bunch of other built-in modules in EdgeWorkers that now I need to recreate because in order to get the cookies, in order to start working with cookies, I need the cookies module. And in order to get the cookies to be able to set headers with cookies, I need the create response module. And in order for the create response module to work, I need to rebuild some of my server stuff. So it's a little bit of just maintenance work today and making things work. So hopefully this is more interesting anyway. Cool. So that is working. Now we need to play around with seeing how the headers are coming across, because that's, after all, what we want to get to today. We have the response headers. I think all of these are going to be automatically set. We have content type HTML, which I think is not actually being set, except here. So let's see if we can actually set our cookie now. Set cookie. I don't think I want an array. I'm just going to do weather true, sure. So now let's check if we reload and we check the network response, we see set cookie weather true, which means if we go to our console, we can see well, actually I don't need to do that. I can just go to my application and check my cookies here, and we can see that weather is true. That's great because key and value were set a different way. So that's pretty cool. I think that's okay for what we've done so far. We've been able to set our cookie. I didn't get as far with the built-in cookies module, so I think we're probably going to want to jump into that next time because we're about at time. But nonetheless, I'm pretty happy with the work that was done. So what are we going to do with this? I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually update how these cookies are set. So cookie, we'll leave that there. Let's actually make this cookie setting make sense. Get rid of that. Here's what I'm going to do. Pull my headers up above. And I think we'll set it up here. Const headers equals that thing that we just copied. The set cookie header is not going to be set. But if the query has a location, then we'll say headers at set cookie equals, and we'll do location equals, and then we'll grab that location. There we go. Get rid of that. So that should set my cookie. That's probably not the best way to set a cookie. We're going to have to come back and tackle like creating cookies in a better way. But for now, I think that's going to work okay. So then if we have a location, we're also going to update that. Location equals location equals query.getLocation, and then we'll update the location, set the location as a cookie. And then if the request cookie has a location, we'll say else if we need to check the headers. Right now, that is undefined. Let's see, request dot get header cookie. That's what I want. Yeah, this is going to have to come back tomorrow. Don't have time for that. But if the request has cookies, has location, use that. Otherwise, use the default location object. So this is going to be the next step. And let's see. So I do have cookies. Why is that not coming across in the request? Right? There's my weather cookie. And my cookie is undefined. So let's see. Node get request cookie. It should have to do with getting the request header. HTTP cookies and node. Yeah, if I'm using Express, I need cookie parser or whatever. I don't really want that. Whoa, no thank you. I don't think this was super helpful. So let's see. Node HTTP get headers. This is going to bother me if I don't get to at least getting the headers today. So I feel like I have it in there. Get header. That's because I'm using the response get header. I want request get header. That ought to fix it. Get header does not exist on type request. Okay, request dot. Oh, okay, right. That makes sense. That makes sense. This was a mistake. Okay, so let's see this. I want to get header. I'm actually just going to log headers and make sure that I've got this right. So now am I calling get header? I am calling get header. So let's see here. Reload my page. Everything should still work. And I should see, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so my headers are all going to be lowercase, which is interesting. So this server should be request header key dot to lowercase, not locale lowercase, lowercase. Thank you. Yes. Param is going to be a string header key. Cool. And I think that this actually doesn't need to be array is array. So we're just going to return the header. It seems like it can be either an array or a string. So let's try that. Provides header value, expected type comes from property get header, which is declared on the type. Request client. Expected type comes from property get header, which is declared on the type ingress client request. Okay, type header string returns a string or an array of string is not assignable to type string. It returns just an array of strings. Well, maybe I have that wrong then, or maybe they have it wrong. I'll have to figure that out another time. But for now, our thing is working, and we can see that our cookie returns weather true. Great. Cookies are working. Happy to see that. Well, that's going to be it for today. Once again, mellow stream. I hope that you enjoyed it nonetheless. And I hope that if you are anywhere in the world that is dealing with some of the uncertainties and things are like kind of scary right now, I hope that things are, hope that you stay safe and that, you know, things get better. So with that, I will leave you and we will be back on tomorrow once again at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I look forward to getting this thing finished. Turns out there was a lot more work for us to do in these built-in things. So I may start looking at ways to speed that up so we don't have to spend too much time on that and we can just get back to building cool stuff. All right, that's it for the stream. I'll see you tomorrow.